looked at Noah, we looked at Job, and we looked at Stephen, and we can see how grace is a beautiful gift, a gift that works and is linked to our faith. All three of these men had to have faith in God. Noah, when building the ark, he doesn't see the flood, but he's got to build this ark, and he's got to gather the animals, and he does it, and he was obedient. Job, who has faith, knowing that God knows the plans that he has for him, he continues to pursue, and he continues to go. And at the end, he's blessed more than he knows. Stephen, who even as he's being stoned to death, has faith and looks to the heavens, and he says, Lord, receive my spirit right now. And when he dies, we know that he goes right to the throne room of God. So beautiful. Grace really is a gift, and we have Jesus who intercedes on our behalf according to Hebrews chapter 7 verse 25. We have Jesus who intercedes on our behalf, and we can draw nearer and nearer and nearer to God, and we can receive the grace that we need for that day, for that situation. Without the intercession of Jesus and without the intercession of the Holy Spirit, it would be so easy for us to become enslaved by sin again and to go back into the ways of the world, because we are human and we are so influenced by what we see. Remember Job's wife, she sees the boils and she says, deny God. But Job says, no, I'm not going to do that. I am experiencing my pain and I'm enduring my pain, but it doesn't matter, because after I go through this test, I will come out as gold. God's grace does not work by itself. It needs our faith to remain linked with it. It is by grace and through faith. So, how can we then receive God's grace? What are some things that allow us to know God and enter his presence and to receive the grace that God has? Well, first off, studying and obeying the scriptures. And you're doing this when you tune into these devotions and you are an active participant in your church and you are taking the notes and listening to what your pastor says, listening to what your leaders say. You are studying and obeying the scriptures. From whenever you accept Jesus, study the scriptures and get to know God, because as we have said multiple times throughout the devotions, the Bible tells us exactly who God is, and it shows us who Jesus is, and it reveals to us personalities of him and characteristics of him. And in doing so, your faith is strengthened. And when your faith is strengthened and you go through those hardships of life, grace is given to you. And when your faith is strengthened and you are trying to achieve new heights, and you're at this place and you want to go a little bit higher, grace is given to you to push you up a little bit. The next thing is to continue to listen to the gospel. We have to love the story of the gospel. We have to love what Jesus has done for us. We have to accept that. We have to know Jesus died. He rose again. And in his raising up again, we were given grace. We were given salvation. Love to hear that message and repeat that message to yourself daily. Pray, fast and pray. Remember Hebrews chapter 4 verse 16? Boldly approach the throne of God and let your requests be made known to him. And in that you will find grace. And I want to turn to this verse in the book of Colossians, because this is an aspect that I think is so important that all of us have to remember. And this comes from the book of Colossians chapter 3 verse 16. Let the word of Christ dwell in you richly in all wisdom, teaching and admonishing one another in psalms and hymns and spiritual songs, singing with grace in your hearts to the Lord. One of the biggest things to continuously seek out God's grace and to be in his presence and to receive God's grace is to worship him. Job was in the worst time of his life and everything died, and it says in Job chapter 1 verse 20 that he worshipped. No matter where you may be, whether that's the best times of your life or the worst times of your life, remember to sing with grace in your hearts. Remember to sing and to worship him and to just say, Lord, thank you. Thank you for everything you've done for me. And I know that the grace of God will be heavy upon our lives. God bless you.